In this video, I cover a great $500 gaming PC that can play at 1080p 60fps in all of the modern titles. Without wasting any more time, let's get right into it. So hey guys, this is TeamOverclocked showing you a $500 gaming PC. This can play games like Shadow of the Tomb Raider and Far Cry 5 at 1080p high with around 60fps. Of course, you're not going to be maxing out games at 60fps with this PC, but you'll definitely get an experience that will satisfy most gamers. With that out of the way, let's get into the PC itself. Now for the CPU, I decided to go with the Ryzen 5 1600 for $119. This is a 6-core 12-thread CPU that comes clocked at 3.2 GHz with a boost clock of 3.6 GHz. This is also unlocked like all Ryzen CPUs, so that means you can overclock it to max out its performance. Now you might be wondering why I went with this instead of the R5 2600. The main reason is simply the price. It's so cheap, it's hard to pass up. Now as you saw in the benchmarks, this is a very good CPU for gaming, and since it does have 6 cores and 12 threads, you can also do video editing and live streaming as well, and other tasks that are CPU heavy, so it's a great CPU for all kinds of uses. For the motherboard, I decided to go with the ASRock B450M HDV for $60. This is a great micro ATX motherboard that comes with 2 RAM slots, 4 SATA 6GB per second ports, and an M.2 slot. This also comes with the B450 chipset, which is going to allow you to overclock, which is important if you want to max out your CPU's performance. So all around, this is a great motherboard that has everything that you need for this PC. Next up for the memory, I went with the Team T-Force 16GB set for $57. Now Ryzen PCs really like multi-channel and high-frequency RAM. That's why it's important to go with something like this kit, which comes clocked at 3000 MHz and is dual channel. The 16GB capacity on this is going to be enough to play games without any issues and will allow you to do video editing at 1080p and 1440p and other tasks like that. It's also going to let you do multitasking without really hindering your gaming performance. So all around, this is a perfect fit into this build. For the storage, I decided to go with the Western Digital Caviar Blue 1TB for $43. This spins at 7200 RPM and has 64 MB of cache. Now this is nothing special, it's just going to store your games, OS, and all of your other files, and it comes in at a pretty low price per gigabyte. Now for the same price, you can also get a 500GB SSD, but you have to keep in mind that 500GB sometimes is limiting. You will have to figure out if the higher performance is worth having the lower capacity. Of course, I'll leave both linked in the description, so pick whichever one you think is better for you. Next up for the video card, I decided to go with the XFX RX 570 for $128. Now this GPU comes clocked at 1366 MHz and has a TDP of 150 watts. Overclocking on this should be a breeze as it has a pretty decent cooler and it's made by XFX, who do have some pretty good AMD cards. Now this comes with 4GB of GDDR5 memory, which is pretty much the perfect amount for 1080p gaming. Now when it comes to performance, as you saw in the benchmarks, this is definitely a great GPU for 1080p gaming. Now you won't be maxing things out. Something like an RX 580 would be better suited for maxing out games at 1080p, but you're definitely getting a good value for your money, especially considering that this is only $128. So I think that most gamers would be satisfied with the performance that this outputs for the price. Next up for the case, I went with the Cougar MX330 for $41. This is a beefy ATX case that comes with a nice large acrylic side panel. This also has some nice features like a PSU shroud and filtered fan mounts. Building this shouldn't be hard as it's a pretty big case and there's lots of space to hide and route your cables. All around, this is a great case that comes with a lot of nice features for a mid-range price. Last but not least, for the power supply, we have the Seasonic 500W for $43. This is an 80 plus bronze rated power supply that comes with 2 8-pins and a variety of other connectors. Having 2 8-pins is important because it means it can pretty much support any consumer level GPU, given that the wattage doesn't exceed its maximum capacity. Now this isn't modular, but since the case in this PC has a PSU shroud, it's not going to be a big issue. It also comes with all black cables, which will give your PC a very sleek look. Seasonic makes some of the best mid-range power supplies out there, so you can't go wrong with this. Before I end the video, I'd like to quickly mention I have links to everything in the description, so check that out if you're interested. But yeah guys, that's all for today. If you liked the video, please be sure to hit the like button. If you didn't like it, please dislike this video and subscribe for more content, and I'll see you guys in the next one.